Hey guys, Hayk here, and welcome to the Power of Mindset podcast. We were gone to Europe for a family vacation and just got back, so I took a little bit of a break from recording these episodes. We were in Mallorca. From Mallorca, we went to Portugal, Lisbon, and there's a highlight of my trip. A lot of things were actually highlighted in my trip. There's one piece that I wanted to make this episode about, and it's about the people that you surround yourself with. This is a annual trip that we get to win on the insurance industry based on production numbers you win. So they would send us on a vacation, right? In many cases, they would book out like a hotel for the agent. So you get to go enjoy time with family, but you also run into a lot of like-minded people. And I've learned to surround myself with a group of my Armenians from California. And that's a piece that's very special to me because some of these trips I go to, we always try to get us together, either some kind of a dinner, outing, to spend time with this unrealistic movers and shakers group. And this is the group that really makes me feel uncomfortable. They make me feel like I can do better. I'm not doing enough, right? So, and I think there's a significance to surrounding yourself to people that do make you feel uncomfortable. Because I feel like many of us are creatures of comfort seekers, right? We're creatures of comfort. So we do seek things and bias things as people that make us feel good about ourselves. But in reality, we also want people around us that make us feel better. Now, the question is, what is better for us? When somebody high fives you and tells you you're doing enough? Or is it better for us to find people that make you feel like you could do better? You can run more. You can spend more quality time with family. You can make more. You can do better in business. And this is specifically, I want to talk about that specific group of people deliberately. Like, what do you do to go out of your way to find those busy individuals, the go-getters, the shakers, the movers? And how do you stay in front of them? And this is something that I'm very grateful for because I was lucky enough to be exposed to a group of people who all do better than me. These are a group of people that make more money than me, that dress better than me. They've got better results in many categories of their life. Yeah, there are certain things they tell me that I inspire them when it comes to the fitness side of balance, and I'm trying to help them with that, but they're also helping me with the business side. And I can't tell you how important it is for me to go out of my way to be able to spend time with them. And these trips have been great because what are the odds of us getting all of our families together, about airfare, and go to the same hotel and spend time together? So this company events have become very important. And, even though we sometimes feel like we want to skip them, one of the things I look forward to is that 1 or 2 nights with them, because that's when we exchange ideas and talk about things and just influence each other. I'll give you guys an example. In a couple of weeks, there's this MDRT $1 million roundtable trip. Few of us were going to skip. I was one of them. But when we started doing this group text saying, guys, come around, even if it's not for the meeting, even though we're going for the meeting there to learn from speakers on stage, but we are going to block off some time to spend some time at the bar or at a restaurant to learn from each other. Again, what are you doing to find like-minded people or people that inspire you to be more like them, and intentionally going out of your way to find time to spend time with them? And this is something I've been learning with them, that no matter what, if we go, they're going to be around in the area, or we're going to be, whether part of the same meeting, we always try to allocate time to talk to each other, to interact and rub off each other. And there's a couple of traits I want to talk about as far as why is it important to be around people that make you feel like you could do better, right? So again, I do have people in my life that make me feel like I'm doing too much. I have people in my life that make me feel like there's no point of waking up early. There's no point of going out of your way. There's no point of having new ideas. Just stick to what you're doing. And some people make me feel like I'm doing too much, as far as I train too much, I talk about money too much, I am too involved with my family and kids, just be relaxed, right? But then also have a group of people that push and motivate, and they don't have to tell me I need to do more. I see them doing, and it motivates me. Certain one of them I get around, I'm like, man, I got to hire more people. Certain of them I get around, I'm like, I got to market more. Certain of them I get around, I'm like, man, I should go buy a marathon ticket in 6 months. So that's a piece that is very dear to me, and I wanted to interpret with this message to you guys, because it's very easy to not spend time with those people that make you want to be better, because naturally they're very busy. Naturally, they're not defaulting to pull you in as much. So you have to put in the effort to get around them, as in they're busy. But what I've also noticed, the most successful people out there are the most willing and giving, and they're the ones who do the most amount of free labor. And if you reach out and try to spend time with them, trust me, if they see you want it bad enough, they will prioritize to make time with you. And that's a piece that's important to me as well, because I have people that kind of sort of reach out to my office, or me, and my office has done really well. They've set many records in Washington State. So I do see mentees, newer people in the insurance business, even local entrepreneurs, to reach out to me. Some just do it and never follow up, and I get busy and I'm sorry I don't get back to them. But the ones that are around a few times, I push things aside to spend quality time with them. So my message is the ones out there who you're trying to be like, trust me, they want to spend time with you. You're not wasting their time. They do a lot of free labor to help others that want it. And this is the group I wanted to talk about some personality traits. For example, one of the things I wrote down, I wrote a couple of points. One of them was extremely tough. Some of these people are very tough. And why do we need to have tough people around us? Well, that's an important piece because life has a way of throwing difficulties your way, right? And as much as tough as you might be, what's difficult to you might not be difficult to them and vice versa. So if you are dealing with difficulty and you got emotion connected to that feeling, you might want to call somebody, grab coffee or dinner or lunch with somebody who is naturally tough. And you know who's tough and who's not. The naggers, the complainers are weak. Economy's bad. The matrix is against you. It's like matrix and economy has nothing to do with the fact that the alarm rang at 5 o'clock, you hit the snooze button. It's nothing to do with that. That was a personal choice you made, right? So you want to have the people that are saying your alarm rang, you should have woken up. You told yourself you're not going to eat that meal. Why did you eat it? You said you were going to work until 6, but why'd you get off at 5:15? Right? So those tough, disciplined people are needed because when you get around them and you start complaining about your issues, well, they don't have emotion tied to the thing that makes your tough situation tougher than it is. They will give you a non-biased, emotionless advice. One of them was, I had a couple of bad hires. I'm in a market where it's really difficult to find younger talent. And this was my complaint to one of my friends in California, my friend Alan. And I was just nagging, right? Yeah, we're in like this, Silicon Forest, tech industry. Nobody wants to come work for a small business like me. We don't have really high premiums in our business. So for the type of the households we write, we don't have as much as money coming in as you Californians or you Texas or you Florida agents have. So it's difficult for me to have the type of the income to justify for the type of the jobs I'm posting. Nobody wants to work for 25 bucks an hour. I was nagging and his response was, you done? Stop making excuses. You're full of shit, Hayk. Go look for the local apartment building that might have a kid who's very ambitious, whose parents brought them to this country, that risked everything, and the kid wants to do something about it. The question is, what are you doing to get in front of them? Or are you just going to keep nagging about your wealthy clients whose kids don't want to work for you? And it's funny, a few months later, I found a rock star. Found a young, ambitious, hardworking kid who's like breaking a bunch of records. And I realized, just making excuses. So the tough phone call was needed because now whenever somebody calls me and they want me to be the tough person, it was a great reminder, like, dude, just be tough. When somebody's nagging, complaining, and being weak, in reality, they're not really calling you for answers. They want you to be tough with them. Dependable, right? These people are very dependable. Who is dependable in my life? Who can I count on? Now, I do have a circle of friends who, if I ever call and, they'll be there for me no matter what. Right, dependability is a big one. Who are the people around you who will make you feel like there's stability built around them, right? And those are the ones who actually give you this safety net. And it's a piece I actually wrote about in my book about the type of the circle we surround ourselves with. Some of them that make you feel like you can share anything with them. Some of them make you feel like you can ask them for all kinds of help. So dependability is a huge one. Positive is a big one. Like I'm in a business where, friend of mine who was a stockbroker, he was sharing me the story that he goes, I remember as a stockbroker, I would beat my assistant to the phone call because every time the phone rang, usually meant transaction, right? Somebody's, stock prices are going down. If that customer calls, I pick up the phone, I tell them, hey, buy more because you're buying shares at discount. Stock prices are going up. They're calling to sell. Great, we're selling. Now we're buying more. So every phone call was a transaction, positive transaction, money transaction. So he goes, I'll look forward to the call. And I transitioned from the stock brokerage into an insurance business. And nobody calls their insurance company because things are smooth. They usually call there's a billing issue, there's claims issue, cars not being released from a shop, death, disability, somebody got hurt, right? So transition to this negative kind of environment where, well, you have to do a good job of taking the negative, turning into positive. So it's a different kind of a skill set than taking the positive and continuing with the positive. Well, turning a negative into positive, it's a conversion. It's not just going along with the flow of positivity to begin with on a phone call. So I think positivity specifically in those businesses where negative solving problem skills are needed is important. Also having circle of people around us because some days we might have more negative than somebody else. So having positive circle is very important and maintaining that positive circle is very important because we too tend to get negative. It's like welcome to life. It's not just the insurance business. In many cases, we're dealing with negative problems. So having positive people is very important. And that circle I'm talking about is very positive. A big one, this point is a big one. People that surround you. Unfortunately, I'm seeing too many pleasure-seeking, pleasure-driven, pleasure-motivated people. And I wrote down, these people shouldn't be pleasure driven. They are purpose driven. The pleasure driven person is, can't wait to get off work so I can go have a drink. Can't wait for Friday so I can go sleep in on Saturday, so I can go party. And you notice when you talk to purpose driven people, they don't care if it's the weekend. They got a stable weekend ahead. They're not just cramming their entire fun into 1 or 2 days. They have a purpose every day. Yes, weekend is a recovery because they work hard on weekdays. Some actually work on weekends as well. But if there's some people who are always after pleasure, listen, they'll do anything for the party. They'll cancel any plan possible to attend multiple parties, to drink, to have a good time. And then they hate themselves on Sunday night because Monday morning they have to go to work. That rubs off on you, right? That's a piece that I'm giving a lot of advice to people. It's like, if you got a bunch of pleasure-driven people around you, you're either going to become like them, which is a formula to failure, or you need to move away and find some purpose-driven people so you can have stability long-term. Not emotional is a piece as well. Because, if you tend to make decisions emotionally, there's this good quote I live my life by, at least I try to live my life by, and emotions often get on the way, is don't make any decisions when you are angry, and don't make any commitments when you're happy. When you're happy, you want to commit and marry anybody, commit to any business decision, propose, right? So that's why you want to sit on it. And I've heard about, if your feelings are the same 48 hours later, that means you give it some time for the emotion to go away. So logically, you're probably making the right choice. But if you feel anger, you're going to say something. If you feel angry, you're going to decide to be a certain way or do something. Don't out of anger. You will regret it. Sometimes there are permanent consequences when you do things when you're angry. And when you're happy, you tend to commit to things, right? So not being emotional, or at least learning to control the emotion, at least not to make commitments when happy and decisions when angry, given a couple of days. And having people around like that who are less emotional and more logical. And that's why when we tend to want to make an emotional decision out of happiness or anger, it's great to call the people who are not emotionally driven to make decisions. They don't have emotion tied to that purchase of that car or that personal commitment. Run it by the people that you find to be less emotional than most, because emotional people tend to always have some kind of a greatest news and issues. Last person you want to call to make a decision. Loyalty is a big one. Loyal friends, not the ones that have got different friends every weekend, social butterflies. Every week they've got new invites, new parties, new weddings. The loyal ones tend to have a tight circle. You can count on one hand how many people they're close with. So I think loyalty is a big one. No such thing as I can't attitude. That's something my father actually always told me. He said, don't say I can't until you've truly given your best, until you've exhausted your efforts. And I can't tell you how often I thought I can't because I kind of sort of tried, it didn't work. But there's never been nothing in my life that I really tried that I couldn't say I can't. Remember when I ran my first marathon, I gave myself a false title of somebody who runs marathons. No, can you run it? Well, kind of sort of tried, kind of sort of did it. Then I told myself, what's the threshold? Okay, if only 1% of people on this earth run a marathon, well, what's a percentage of those run Boston? It was like 3 to 4. I'm like, you know what? Let me really try before I say I can't. And I really tried and I did it. A 210-pound guy ran a sub 305 marathon. And to me, that was something now I'm going to have in me for the rest of my life. And also prove to myself, and it's important to prove to yourself these things and prove to the circle next to you that if you try something, yes, you can, right? So don't say I can't until you try and you exhaust your resources. And I can tell you a lot of good examples in my life. I had similar like-minded people who think the same way. People that push you, right? There's a lot of people that don't really push me. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've had ideas that I ran by people who kind of shut them down. No, why would you? You stay comfortable. I would kill to be in your place. Why would you want to go somewhere else? But there's a reason why I am where I'm at. Because if you think that way, you will never be there. That's why I need to have people in my life keep pushing me so I can continuously be places where a lot of people are not willing to do what I'm willing to do to be where I want to be. So to be where you've never been, which is where you want to be, you have to be willing to things that you don't want to do. So a lot of these people that want to only do what they want to do, they'll never be where you are if you're in good places. So if you're in a good place, do you have people around you that push you to go further? That's a question you need to ask yourself. Look in the mirror and ask, because you cannot lie to the person in the mirror. So push yourself. And again, this group I was telling you about really does push me. make you feel like you can do more. Yeah, that's a piece I just talked about. Uh, who are the people in your life that won't judge you? And I think that's a big one too, where I'm an outside box thinker. I remember when I was like, oh, I'm going to write a book. I've had some people like, yeah, right. Yeah, why would you know, funny, another story with Hayk. But I've had some cheerleaders who believed in me more than I did. And that belief is what gave me the confidence to start writing. Because you don't know what you're capable of until somebody gives you that ignition you need for your gasoline, right? So people that push you, people that believe in you, and people that won't judge you. And when you feel judged, do you really think of them when good things happen in your life? It's only a matter of time until you stop thinking of them, right? So it's important to have people that won't judge you. Yes, they'll be wise, they'll give you good advice, but when a good quality wise person sees that you've got fire in you, trust me, they'll be your biggest cheerleader. But if somebody judges you, well, the Bible says don't judge, so they're sinning. Do you have people in your life that you think of when you get excited, right? Because sometimes when you get excited with an idea, a commitment, or something, right? Who do you think of? That's probably the first person to call. And there are people that I've called, I've talked to and had exciting things about, whether if it's a real estate deal I got, or if it's the business idea, or if it's just, idea to talk about my future, something I want to accomplish, right? There are people kind of shut you down, make you feel you're thinking too big, it's too much, they're not happy for you, right? Eventually you stop thinking of them, but there's people that naturally you gravitate around you want to be more like, and you think of them when good things happen to you. You get the promotion, you get the good grade or something. Who are these people? So pull them in, draw them in, text them, call them, get them in front of them. So if there are people who you think of when you're excited, who celebrate you, and I can tell you, the people I hung out with on this trip, I do think of some of them, and I have great ideas and big things, and I almost get pumped to share these things with them. And the ones who you don't think of, as a matter of fact, you feel like if you call, they're going to judge you. Well, don't share good, exciting ideas with them. There's a problem solution. So, that being said, kind of recap what these points are of the type of people you want to deliberately, you have to put actually effort to get these people around you because they are busy. Everybody wants to have these people in their life. They're extremely tough. They're dependable. They're positive. They're not pleasure, but they're purpose driven. They're not emotional. They're loyal. No such thing as I can't attitude. That push you, make you feel like you can do more. They won't judge you. You think of them when excited, and they will celebrate you. So if you think of these people, make a list. Write down a list of people's names as I mentioned these things. If you have them, text them and call them. Let them know you appreciate them. Offer them a coffee or buy them lunch. I promise it's only a matter of time until you continuously put these people in your life and you get them around you until your life gets better. Because somehow these people magically tend to have some answers that you're looking for without giving you the answer. Cheers.